A thriller in stores. UConn protecting its home court. 3 losses in Maui. They bounced back with a win against Maryland Eastern Shore and welcoming Baylor to town for the Big 12 Big East battle. How about Hassan Diarra with the dime right there to Samson Johnson? They seal it at the free throw line. It gets squirrely late, but UConn wins it 76-72. Liam McNeely, the super freshman, 17 points, 8 rebounds, and assists, 3 blocks in this game. Perhaps UConn beginning to find its identity. They have now won 26 straight home games. And, of course, they play at 2 home sites at Gamble and Stores and Excel Center in Hartford, Connecticut. A couple of programs have that set up, but UConn gets the win at home to at least say, hey, look, we're trying to figure this thing out. And let's get right to the site. Welcome in CBS Sports senior college basketball writer Matt Norlander, who joins us from Gamble. And look, Matt, it looks as if maybe, perhaps, that UConn is beginning to find its identity. What did you see in this game?
It's a key first step. Getting this game on its home floor, getting the win, 76-72. I thought improved defensive effort. That was key for UConn. You know, they went with the 2 big look as well. Got Samson Johnson and Terrace Reed on the floor at the same time. In fact, they were on the floor at the same time at the under 4 mark of the second half. That immediately led to a bucket, which I thought was big for their, momentum to close out this game here. So was it a perfect game? No, but you got good production across the board. I mean, Solo Ball had 11. Liam McNeely, the freshman, was 17. I thought was huge. I mentioned Johnson, he had 13. Reed had 9. Overall, UConn shoots 46% from the field, isn't outstanding from 3-point range, but they get done what needs to be done. It's key to know that Baylor lost Jeremy Roach less than 4 minutes into the second half because he went into concussion protocol. So UConn was shorthanded because it didn't have Alex Caravan, who's still in concussion protocol. And then this game, Baylor doesn't have VJ Edgecombe, who could be a top 10 pick next June, and then doesn't have Jeremy Roach. It's, veteran-laden key transfer from Duke who runs the offense. So Baylor was ultra shorthanded. UConn really had little excuse not to win this game, but a good step, a good first win for UConn. Keep in mind, they've got to go to Texas next, and then they got to play Gonzaga at the Garden, and then they're going to play Xavier in Hartford here. So this is a key 4-game stretch, and finally they get one on the right side of the column to start spinning this in a better direction after what happened in Maui.
Something that may go overlooked. There was a couple of shot clock violations by Baylor in the second half. To me, that was representative of what this UConn team did last season and perhaps even the season before. Forcing offenses to continue to press there and forcing a turnover on a shot clock violation. We saw that a lot last season. What did you think defensively of what UConn did in this game?
I just thought it played with more connectivity. Now, I want to be clear. I don't think UConn played like an A effort, A execution defensive game. But it was, Hakeem, I was there courtside in Maui, and I saw a UConn team that was a massive letdown and disconnected on defense, and it lost for a bunch of reasons. But this was at least significantly better. Now, to the 24-second violations, not having Roach for Baylor is a key part of that as well. But at least UConn played a little bit better. Dan Hurley said in Maui that they needed to reset and change their psyche, but also specifically what they were doing on defense. So they came back, flew stateside. They had a bye game opponent over the weekend there, so they haven't had a ton of time to completely try and adjust or quasi-reinvent what they're doing, but it certainly was enough. And with a program like this, with how Dan runs it, to get this kind of win, who knows if they can win at Texas. Texas is a really good team, but Texas is certainly not unbeatable. But to get a win here against a Big 12 opponent before Texas, remember, in the SEC, that's upcoming next there, I thought was pretty huge for this team's psyche. Again, particularly because you did this without your leader, Alex Caravan, your most valuable player. You get a win on your home floor against a likely future NCAA tournament team. That's a good first step to turning this around for the back-to-back champs.
Matt, having seen them play in person in Maui compared to what you saw tonight, is there something that stands out to you?
I would say just having watched them play what they did in Maui and then here, just a little bit more liveliness to their play, a little more alertness. I have to point out Aiden Mahaney. He had a couple of big 3-pointers in the first half that cut the lead down to 2 for Baylor. And then Mahaney hit a beautiful looking tray in the second half that I thought came at a big moment to keep UConn on the right track there. So Mahaney's progression, I think, is key. He was the starting point guard when the season began. He got benched in Maui. Hassan Diarra is now the starting point guard, but Mahaney had 9 points on 3 threes, and after a second three. Him and Hurley actually, like, in a loving, aggressive, celebratory way, like, butted heads as it went to timeout there. So I thought Mahaney's emergence here was key. And then overall, I just thought the team body language and what they were able to do in this game against a good opponent was certainly noticeable and something that was lacking when they were over halfway across the Pacific.
Yeah, that's what you and I do when we celebrate a good segment. We headbutt. Yeah. We little chest bump, little fist bump, little forehead, little head bump. Yeah. All right. Good stuff from Matt Norlander from Gamble. Appreciate it as UConn wins it. 76-72 extends their home winning streak to 26 in a row, longest among Power 5 conferences in college basketball. And look, if you're not listening to the Eye on College Basketball podcast, why not? Join Matt Norlander, Gary Parrish, insider reporting, commentary, picks, analysis, the Eye on College Basketball podcast. Download and follow today. You can also watch by scanning the QR code on your screen.